channel. Hey, you know what time it is, No Press fam? Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of The Beatdown, the channel where two worlds collide. Sorry, the segment where two worlds collide. I'm your host, Class, and this is my co-host, Biggs, doing it big, baby. And as a friendly reminder, if you guys like our channel, you know what you can do. You can share, like, subscribe, or you can put on your notification to get the latest episodes. Yeah. And this will be the first official episode of the season. I'm sorry, of the year. Damn, I'm losing my mind here. First episode of the year for 2022. Woo! Now, in honor of the recent Morbius movie coming out in theaters and starring Jared Leto as the main character of this particular movie, we decided we'd do a beatdown episode on this one. And I'll be representing Marvel Comics Morbius. Alright, so let me get you into a brief history of Morbius. Sorry if I'm saying it wrong. Was actually a brilliant scientist in biology, I believe, or something like that, and he had a rare blood disease, and he wanted to cure himself of the rare blood disease, and he got some help to do it, but unfortunately it did cure him, but now he had a new type of problem, which was that he became a vampire. So he didn't get his vampirism in like getting bitten by a bat or another vampire. He got it based on a lab. So he doesn't have the typical normal weaknesses as a regular vampire. You can't just throw holy water on him. You can't hit him with any garlic. You can't just stab him with a stake, and you can't just put him in the sun. It irritates him, but it doesn't really burn him. So he already has kind of an advantage in this fight in itself. He already has an advantage in this fight. That's all I can say to that. Now, why would I mention that? Well, let's get realistic. Man-Bat has weaknesses. He is sensitive to light. He is sensitive to sound. So in a situation, let's say they were fighting at night, and both of them had the home field advantage in this essence, and they're throwing down. Let's not forget, Morbius has the ability of he has stamina. His stamina can go for days, which means that he can throw down with Man-Bat until the sunrise. The sunrise, of course, will irritate Morbius, but it doesn't burn him or destroy him as much as Man-Bat would. And as far as noise and sounds concern wise, I mean, let's look at the obvious. I mean, all he has to do is go. Morbius needs to just go nearby with Man-Bat, like take the fight somewhere where it's just near a nursery where there are new firstborn children like screaming and stuff like that, crying and everything. So that way it would kind of distract Man-Bat, or he could just hit him with one of those big huge bells that they have at churches. I don't know if they still have that, but if they do, then there you go. You can use a huge bell on that. Either way, you still have the advantage to kind of put Man-Bat at a slight disadvantage. Now, let's talk about Morbius, who he's fought against compared to Man-Bat. Man-Bat, look, I don't want to offend any fans because I'm also a big fan of this person too. But Batman is an ordinary being with some really great skills. Don't worry, he's a worthy foe. But as far as superpower wise, you gotta give it to Morbius because he fought people like Spider-Man, who actually has super strength and all this stuff, superpowers. And he's also fought people like Blade, who has the vampire abilities of super strength and speed and all this other stuff and yada yada yada. And he has that really cool blade. So the power level of characters he's fought against, Morbius has, I gotta say he probably would have Man-Bat by the ropes in this essence, considering the fact that as far as power wise or top dogs, I gotta say Morbius has fought bigger dogs, I want to say, than Man-Bat has. So how Morbius gets the W in this essence, I think. So like I was saying before, nighttime, if they start the fight together, going mano a mano there, Man-Bat and him kind of are on an equal level on playing field. Strength and speed wise, they're both at the same point. The only difference is Morbius doesn't fly, he glides. That's the only difference. Other than that, they pretty much have each other at a stalemate in this essence. And then it's about pretty much running the clock in these two directions. One direction is he could run the clock with the formula that makes Man-Bat Man-Bat. If he's not permanent and it eventually wears off, it's all about who lasts who. Now, if Morbius can last in stamina for days, I gotta think that that's gonna put Man-Bat at disadvantage, because if he keeps throwing down with him, he's eventually gonna wear himself out, and eventually the formula that makes him a Man-Bat is no longer going to be an issue. The other direction he can go, Morbius could go, is continue making the fight go for a long run. Keep the distance, but also keep throwing down with them until the sunrise. Now, Morbius does have an issue with the sun a little bit, but he doesn't have it as much as Man-Bat, which means that Man-Bat would be at a disadvantage at that point, where Morbius could throw all the punches he wants in the world. As long as he keeps Man-Bat out in daylight, he's got Man-Bat's ticket right then and there, which I think gives Morbius the win absolutely.
You have underestimated my power!
I want to suck your blood. And I'll be representing DC Comics Man-Bat. Now, in the beginning, let me just explain this. He also didn't get his powers from getting bitten by a bat or a vampire. He actually got it in the lab. He was trying to cure himself from going deaf or something like that, and he figured he could use bad hearing senses in order to do that, and yada yada. One thing led to another. He did something went horribly wrong, and now he is Man-Bat. Another thing about it is that in the beginning, when he was a kid, it didn't just start off as he just figured it out. When he was a kid, he got trapped in a cave. The rescue crew finally found him. But unfortunately, during that time, he met some people, and he spoke to Bruce Wayne about it, and one thing led to another. He explains that there was a half-human, half-bat race out there in the caves, and eventually one thing led to another. That's where he got his experiment inspiration from. So he didn't get it from Fang, so that's pretty much what I'm trying to say. He has strength, speed, he can fly, he has claws, he's got big old fangs. I mean, he's pretty much the basic bat. He's an actual human-sized, bigger than a human-sized bat. Now, this experiment is a temporary thing, or this serum that he put on himself is temporary. So he only has a limited amount of time to be Man-Bat. He doesn't stay Man-Bat permanently. But let me get something out of the way that my other counterpart had just said about, Spider-Man and the other guy that he fights against on a regular day basis, Morbius. Man-Bat fights in hand-to-hand combat with Batman. Okay, Batman is one of the most skilled fighters out there. Okay, he knows almost every martial art technique ever in existence. So, and on top of that, let's not forget the amount of unbelievable gadgetware he has in his tool belt, and along with that, the jet that he has, and the vehicle, the car itself, the back vehicle that he has. Like, he has everything to go against and throw against Man-Bat. So it's not just Batman going in there with his hands, fist with this guy. He's actually throwing down with him with technique and with a lot of advanced equipmentry. So let's just get that out of the way. Okay. Now, it might be a bummer that it was created in the lab, but on the plus note, he's a giant-sized Man-Bat, so that balances things out, right? Now, let's talk about as far as the skies. I'm going to give it to Man-Bat. Now, why would I say that? Well, Man-Bat has wings. Wings are going to come more in handy when it comes to control and how to handle the weather or wind situations and wind conditions. You have more control over the gliding of that essence. For Morbius, he has the ability to glide with the wind, but let's say in a hypothetical situation where a helicopter shows up out of nowhere. They're fighting each other in the sky, then eventually a helicopter flies out of nowhere, or an airplane flies out of nowhere. That's going to affect Morbius' ability to be able to glide around, especially since he uses the wind to control in order to glide in such an essence. Man-Bat uses the wind too, but he also has the wings itself to kind of prevent him from losing too much control of his ability. Instinctually, he'll probably be able to manage to control the situation when it comes to flying around more than Morbius will. Which also, if that be the case, Morbius is at a slight disadvantage. If he's all distorted, flying around and getting spinning out of control, that gives Man-Bat an ability to just run and pounce all over him and take a couple blows left and right in order to before he drops to the ground. He said he could take it to a nursery, he could take it to somewhere with a church bell. All right, well, how about if we take it to a suburban place? Now, why would I say something like that? Well, let's think about it. Morbius' greatest weakness is hunger for blood. Now, if he's in a situation where he's over somewhere, let's say they throw down for a little couple rounds here and there, and then Man-Bat decides to take the fight to a suburban area, that's gonna get Morbius a disadvantage because his hunger at that time while he's throwing down with him is gonna start distracting him from being able to focus on the fight with Man-Bat. With human blood bags everywhere, he's a buffet of humans everywhere. It's gonna be very distracting while Man-Bat's there throwing down. Man-Bat doesn't have the same craving of hunger as Morbius does. That's why the only thing that Man-Bat has is the serum that he has. That's what makes him what he makes him. He doesn't need blood in order to gain his strength or speed, you know. But he does feed on people. But Morbius feeds on people probably a bit more than Man-Bat does. So how I think Man-Bat gets to KO. Throws a couple. He keeps the fight at night. Obviously with with Morbius. Man-Bat takes the fight to a suburban area. Gives him an advantage to kind of keep Morbius on his toes while he's fighting. And at the same time, it keeps Man-Bat at the more the control of the wheel in this kind of fight. Now, considering the fact that Man-Bat has fought hand-to-hand with Batman, that means he might be able, along with the strength, to be able to kind of break a piece of bone off or a piece of something off, a limb off. Now, in a fight against Morbius, there is a possibility that this giant-sized Man-Bat will be able to take a limb off of Morbius while he's being distracted with all this fresh blood around him. And reason I say that is because Morbius doesn't have the ability to regenerate a limb. He's able to heal himself within a few minutes and hours, but as far as his healing factor when replacing limbs, he can't regenerate it. He's not the Deadpool. He's not those guys who can regenerate their limbs from out of nowhere. So if Man-Bat and him go one-on-one, mano-a-mano, I think technique fighting-wise, Man-Bat has Morbius' number on that. And I also think that Man-Bat would be able to rip a limb off of Morbius, giving Morbius a disadvantage win. And then after that, Man-Bat could just rip, and I hate to say this, sorry if he's gonna get graphic, rip Morbius' head off. And just squeeze the head and then boom, KO. As always, it's not up to me. It's not up to Biggs. It's up to you guys. So if you guys liked my argument, you can hashtag Morbius. And if you liked my argument, you know what you can do? You can hashtag Man-Bat. And as always, no press fan, we really appreciate you guys. Catch you guys later. Peace.